Right places, everyone.
Hi, Vincent.
Hello.
What have you been playing this week?
Well, this week I've been playing Wolfenstein Youngblood and a little game called Can Androids Pray, which is...
so you've been playing 2 games this week, Vincent?
Yeah, is that the fucking problem, like? Have you got somewhere to be?
No, it's just unusual for you to...
Well, I am sorry to be taking up so much of your time, you fucking pound shop Andy Crane.
Vincent, it's not a problem.
I'm not the one who spends all his fucking time standing around in the woods, talking to small animals with alliterative names. Not now, Robert! Wolfenstein Youngblood is fucking great, right? It's a co-op game, but you can play it in single player with an AI-controlled partner, which I am doing because my friend Robert is a useless bastard. Because sometimes he just fucks off halfway through a session to go and rake through someone's bins.
What's Wolfenstein Youngblood all about then?
Well, imagine fascism was still popular in the West decades after the Second World War. Sounds a bit far-fetched, doesn't it? Wolfenstein Youngblood is set in occupied Paris in 1980, where the bastards have thrown loads of dissidents into work camps and clad the Eiffel Tower in concrete and covered the place in fucking bunting. And I don't like bunting, because no event that has necessitated bunting has ever been as cheerful as the bunting suggests.
Okay, Vincent.
Unless you're a fucking monarchist.
So what do you do in it?
Well, you shack up with the French resistance in the catacombs, right? You know, where all the fucking skulls are. Looks like it's been decorated by Cradle of Filth fans. And you just sort of fire about Paris, shooting the fash and nicking all their stuff. It's a pure kleptomaniac fash-bashing simulator, and I'm all about it, because Nazis are arseholes, and property is theft, like, you know. You play as Jess or Soph, the twin daughters of BJ Blazkowicz from the main games. And it's good, like, because they're these teenage girls who are really, really excited about putting bullets into fascists. Which is a bit of a nice change in tone from playing as their dad, the fucking whispering sad man who spends half the last game dying of kidney failure before literally being beheaded. Fucking hell, it's a bit bleak. Oh, I'm knackered and I'm killing all these fascists. Christ, man. But he survives literally being beheaded when his head's grafted onto the body of an artificial super soldier. Fucking hell, Bill. Cheer up, lad. You assassinated Hitler and survived death. Take a fucking load off, man. Anyway, so Bill's fucked off to Paris and his daughters are looking for him. But in the meantime, they've got resistance missions and that to get on with. And loads of side jobs that you end up doing for all these suspiciously idle bastards hanging about the base. But your main objective at first is to take out these gigantic towers called the Brothers. But they're difficult as fuck and filled with ad bastards, so you need to do a lot of levelling up in that, which is probably my only criticism of the game, really, Reet. There's a fair amount of backtracking and grinding and that, because there's hundreds of missions to do, but they all take place in like a handful of areas, but the levels are all pretty big.
How big?
Well, they're full of secrets and shortcuts and stuff like that. Taking a tightly focused single-player shooter like Wolfenstein and adapting it into a sprawling co-op experience that's jam-packed with content, something was always going to be lost in the translation, but it all works out in the end, right? Cause fucking, it's a big, bold multiplayer experiment in the Wolfenstein world that draws a big middle finger in pink neon and points it directly at the fucking fash. Plus, if you've got a mate to play it with, who isn't fucking useless, you can get one copy of the deluxe edition and play through it together with the buddy pass, which is a pass for buddies. So you can go to Paris and kick fuck out of assholes together, like some sort of ultra-violent romantic city break.
And what's the other game you've been playing, Vincent?
Oh, Can Androids Pray? Oh, it's fucking brilliant. It's a cracking game, mate, about confronting death.
And what happens in that, Vincent?
Well, you play one of 2 mech pilots who are about to die, like, you know, on the barren surface of a long-dead Earth. It's fucking great, man. It feels like playing through a sort of Ray Bradbury story, you know?
Sounds quite depressing, Vincent.
Well, yeah, obviously it's fucking depressing. It's about 2 people who are about to die. Basically, Rich, you've got until the sun comes up to decide how you're gonna face death and whether or not you want to know the truth about your existence before you do it. It's fucking terrifying, man. Despite the fact it's just a conversation, you know? And it's only about 20 minutes long and just over a £5. So you should probably go and fucking buy that. If you're into fucking existential panic, you know? Which I am. because I'm a small woodland animal and my environment is being slowly destroyed. But that's by the fucking by.
Well, this sounds very unique. Has there been anything like this before?
Yeah, actually, Rit, my friend and former cosplay partner Mike Bithell made a couple of games called Subsurface Circular and something else circular. I don't know, I didn't play that one. Where you play a robot sitting on a fucking train. It was really, really good, but it didn't really make me think for weeks and weeks afterwards about my own mortality like fucking Cat and Android's Prey has.
Any concluding thoughts?
Yeah, I'm very sad, David.